Hello, welcome back to FlossTube 2. It's been a while, 6 months since I last did this, but I still wanted to continue sharing my stitches with you, so welcome if you're viewing. I'm Jess of Spring Hill Stitches, and I'm going to show you guys some stuff I've been working on, not everything, and a couple things I have finished, because even though I haven't posted a YouTube video, I've been stitching away in my own quiet solitude of misery and stress and anxiety. But I've been working. The one problem was when I was trying to think about what to do next, I hated how my setup was the last time. I hated the light. I'm in this house that has a 1960s electric box I need to fix. I think there are 3 rooms up to 1 circuit, and one of them is my office, the other one being my daughter's room, and then funny enough, the outlet for the family room in the basement. So if we ever trip that circuit, those lights will go off in this room, and it'll kick out the modem, which is always a great time when I'm working from home, or just anytime. So we have to reset the circuit breaker. I feel like I'm living in some 1980s sitcom, resetting my circuit breaker. I'll get it fixed eventually, but I hated the light. It flickers, and I didn't like it being on my big old head, which is already, you know, an attraction of all sorts of like weirdness anyway. I mean, you can't help staring at it. So I hated it being on my forehead, and so recently I bought a chair to put in my office and a nice reading lamp to sit in. Oh, look, it's got a remote, so I can be extra fancy and adjust the lighting on it. And then I would decide, well, I think this is a good setup. So let me pull the stuff I want to talk about to stitch. But then I remember like, oh, I left that at work because I have several projects in my work drawer. And then I finished that one. And then I gave that one away, or I'm making that as a present. And I basically, as in most things, overthought myself out of doing it. I am an overthinker. There's Overthinkers Anonymous. If there's a group, I should be there. It is the stress of all my gray hairs and heartburn. And I do it to myself, so I really can't blame anyone else. So when I die, it'll probably say dead of overthinking on her tombstone. And then like my eulogy will be like, I hope this doesn't offend anyone when I'm gone. Oh, wait a minute. Crap, I overthunk that. So I had all these grand plans and then just didn't do anything. And I was just like, well, let's just do it. And even now, the chair that I bought for myself to set up is now being occupied by my dog. Because he thinks he, you know, owns this house and pays bills and he's allowed to sit wherever he wants. I bought artwork that I wanted to put on the other side of the wall, and I haven't put it up, and it's just like, if I don't do it now, I never will. So we're just going to do this little cute floss tube. And you're gonna watch it or you're gonna turn it off. It's all fine, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. I hope you guys have been having some really fun stitching throughout the winter and spring. We had a very mild winter here. The first, like, you know, the first week of it like hit, and then of course after Christmas it was insane. I was starting a temperature stitch, and I realized that I didn't have a color for how cold it was, but then it kind of straightened itself out. So it was kind of mild, so I didn't really have too many snow days. Spring's been very mild, and then summer here in the Midwest has been all over the place. A couple days last week it felt like fall, so I was annoying my kids saying, it's fall, I'm gonna put my hoodie on, I'm gonna put my jeans, I'm gonna get out my boots, it's fall. She's rolling her eyes so hard because she is a summer child. She loves summer. And the more I can get her out and doing stuff, great. I'll stay inside and stitch. I am an all-season stitcher. But let me show you a couple things I'm working on. I wanted to go ahead and finish up some stuff that I had sitting in my whip drawer that had been kitted up forever. I joined a couple of Facebook groups, and they have challenges that you will do, which is a good motivation. They do throw in gift cards or, gosh, what's the word? Project bags, that's the word. or other kind of goodies that you can get if you do all the requirements and then, you know, win the raffle at the end of it. But I kind of used it as a motivation to keep going, and then seeing what other people are doing, which of course, and then you go, oh, that looks pretty, and then you buy the pattern, you kit it up, and the vicious cycle continues again. But I kind of want to say, like, I have all these patterns in my drawers. I'm going through, I'm seeing which ones I really want to start, what sparks joy. I actually had a big pattern piece that I started maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. Is one of the like first ones I said, like, I'm going to do this one with lots of color and stuff like that. And I did about a couple of pages, and then I messed up because I didn't do a parking method where I finished a block, so I kind of just did a cross-country method, but then I lost count of it, and I was doing this on paper, and I pulled it out. I tried to put it on my iPad for my X markup, and then I just looked at it and I said, like, I just don't really like this piece anymore. Also, it was on black, and so I was gridding it in white, so I had to go find more white, and I've been having a difficulty with white green pens. I think I should just bite the bullet and get easy glide thread or do it by thread, but I'm also just, you know, perpetually lazy and stubborn. So every time I try to do that, it's like, oh, it's not worth the effort. And of course, every time I don't grid, it turns around and bites me horribly. So I decided to go through and see what kind of stuff I did, and also all this stuff that I, you know, bought. What's the point in buying it and not using it? I should at least try to start something to keep a variety. So what I recently just started is I bought a lot of patterns from Lunar Fox Stitch. She does the ones that she does one of the artists who does a lot of the stamped patterns. So they're in the shape of a postage stamp. I believe she's Ukrainian Russian. Sorry, I should check that. But that kind of style and design that you see, which I really like, because, you know, the colors are simple. The back stitching is kind of elaborate, but not elaborate, because the pattern makers will have it where you will do a 2-strand back stitch with a 1-strand back stitch, and that gives it a lot of depth to it. So almost just like doing your drawing with a pencil. You got a thin line, you got a wide line. So I bought a couple of her patterns, and I decided to kit some up, and then of course once I was kitting them up, I'm like, well, I might as well just start working on them. So this is the first one, and it's going to be the Disney World Castle, because I obviously bought Disney pieces. As I mentioned before, I'm either doing Halloween, goth, horror movie pieces, or I'm doing Disney pieces. I have two sides. Sometimes I meet in the middle, but I do love Disney pop culture. I'm not gridding this one, as you can see, because it's on paper, and I don't want to end up with any sort of pencil marks or pen marks that I can't get rid of and bleed through. So started working on the castle here. Got to lots of lovely blues. I started doing it on a paper piece, which is a little bit hard because of the color. So I just kind of upload that into my iPad, and again, overthinking it, because I said, I want to take these pieces to work, because these are really easy to keep in my desk drawer and work. But then I say, well, then I gotta take my iPad to work. And then I remember to take my iPad to work and then bring it home, because then I'll come home and I won't have it and be grumpy. And then it's just like, why don't you just, you know, talk yourself in a circle while you're at it? So I did not take this to work today, because I'm finishing up another work piece, but I will motivate myself to take this in and finish it. This should be a really quick finish. I think it's almost about 30% done, and I feel like I haven't worked on it too much, even though over the weekend I sat down to do some cross stitching, and it just kind of, you know, when the summer hits and the sun is out longer, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I haven't been up that, I haven't been doing this long. I still got time, and then I look at my iPad, it's like, it's almost midnight. And I love sleep. So, I got a lot of work done on this weekend. Need some water there, and decided I would kit up another one, and I want to show you how I kind of kit these up. So I like these little floss organizers. You can get them Amazon, other cross-stitch shops, probably from Wish or Tenmu as well. But I actually have a lot of these stickers left over from when I bullet journal. I used to bullet journal a lot, but then there was one of those things I had to give up because, again, I've only got so much time for so many hobbies, but I had a lot of these little stickers that would be lists, so you would take the list and put in your bullet journal. Well, they're just perfect size for me for thread colors. And then of course with this one I have the little places where you can put the symbol, so it's even extra lazy proof for me. So I have the front colors, have them on the back, so I usually won't put all the colors on one side. I'll kind of keep them in the back together. Usually I don't put the same kind of shade of color together, just to help me not make a mistake and grab the wrong color, but on this one I put all the blues together. So I messed up on that one. I went against the grain. And then this will be the chart for my next piece, which is the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Very cute. I'm looking forward to that one. And again, a little bit more colors here, but enough of these on these little counter. And these ones are fun for these ones that you only have a couple colors. And it helps me. And usually I'll try to read the pattern instructions, because we have a lot of great pattern makers out there, and they are very helpful in including the counts, or how many skeins of floss you're going to use. So I'll take a look at those and I go like, well, this piece has a lot of white background, so I'm going to pull all of the floss off that skein and then cut it and put it on the organizer, versus I go, oh, well, there's like six colors here. So I'm only going to cut a small piece, and then small enough that it's not too small that I can't reuse it and put it back on the bobbin, because I also will do that because I'm stingy. I also just hate trying to find the colors again, which is, I'm doing a cleanup of my floss. I pulled out a giant Ziploc bag of floss that I could have sworn I put away, but obviously did not put away. And pardon that noise, it's the dog making himself comfortable. Thank you. But so I went through that, and I bought some more bobbin keepers. I'm going through that to make sure my stuff isn't there, but it's just like, I know I have to remind myself when I'm kitting something new, I need to look into everything else that has been currently kitted or a work in progress, because I probably have that color there. If I don't, I guarantee I will go out to the store, buy that color that I maybe only needed for 200 stitches, and then I pull out a piece and I'm like, oh, I had like 5 skeins of that color in that work in progress piece. So trying to remember to do that. But like I said, and of course I was going through my stash and I found a lot of this perforated paper. I believe I got it from someone who was just giving away a bunch of embroidery supplies, so use that. Perfect. I do like working on perforated paper, but it is a bit finicky, so you just gotta make sure that you're gentle with it, because once you get a knot in your thread and pull it through, that bad boy is not going back, and you better pray that your stitches are nice and chunky to cover up that hole. So that's my first one and a half new starts. This is something that I'm working on with my Facebook group. So it's called a Clear the Deck. It's a 9-month challenge, 9 months, something like that. So basically you had to pick all your work in progresses and list them, and they basically said you need to do 400 stitches a month to keep going on them. So I had a couple that I actually did finish, but I'm gonna try to hammer out the Supernatural Sal by the Witchy Stitcher. So as you can see, I got the top row done, but not the skulls, not the candles. I don't know why. I'm weird. And then we've got the first couple. We're more than halfway there. So we've got 8 already. And I just recently finished up the unicorn. That was the latest one I was working on. So I was trying to get one of these a month, but I think I want to like really focus on this one right now, because we're really close. I also need to make sure like that the border, which is really, because I get really excited to do all of the figures, but I gotta do the border. I know people who have done this Sal, including the cryptid Sal, their machines and they get the border done before she releases the first pattern. And I'm never that person, and I'm terrified that the border will be off. And in the cryptid one, the border was off by 1. So I had to take out one of the cryptids, start it all over again, and count. I was like, oh my gosh. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do maybe just the border, and then maybe do some markers here towards the bottom of where these other frames are, kind of almost like landmarks, and then make sure it reaches up here, and hopefully it'll match up and perfection. So, but I mean, I'm enjoying this a lot. I obviously bought this before I was finished with the cryptid. I'm like, yep, gotta do it. So cryptid is finished, and I'm working on this one. I don't think I've made any modifications to this. I know a lot of people like making the modifications on her designs. I'm seeing lots of fun ones with pastels. I think people have changed the creatures. Like I know people were doing the ogre as Shrek. Get out of my swamp! They're doing the siren as Ariel from The Little Mermaid. But I really enjoy her colors. They match the same palette as the cryptid one. In fact, I had a floss organizer for the cryptid one, and I basically just said, oh, they're the same colors. So we'll just keep those and put the extra 2 or 3 colors in there. So this is a Supernatural Sal. I would like to make really good progress on this before the next time, and hopefully finish this up before fall, as I have a couple of other projects I want to start working on. And this one's just kind of been a little neglected. And oh, look, I see a mistake already. So I'm gonna pull that out. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. It's like pulling a gray hair out. I guess I had a really not pulled through piece on this border. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave that for next time because it needs to be fixed. Because if not, I won't fix it and it'll get framed and I'll stare at it for an eternity, remembering that mistake. Overthinker. So, next kind of big work in progress piece that I'm working on is the Halloween Hijinx by Carol Manning. This was saw people working on Instagram and went, oh, I gotta work on that. That looks really cute. But this is almost just like 1 quadrant of the section. So this is really big. So despite its kind of cutesy design and colors, and I kind of thought like, oh, this would be fun to just work on like 1 block at a time and finish it, and I couldn't even get that. So I kind of had, again, another border anxiety where I wanted to finish up the border and make sure that they fit. So that's what I started. So I have this 1 quadrant of border done. There is something a little bit wonky with this fabric, and again, in my stitcher anxiety, I'm wondering if I am going to finish it, and you can barely tell, but this section right here, the weave is a lot tighter. Still 10 holes. So take a look at this little pumpkin, which is regular, versus this one. I don't think you can see much, but again, will I frame it and stare at it for all eternity and go, that fabric went nut on me, and now I have a wonky piece? Or do I just embrace this wonkiness? I want to embrace it because there's so many cute motifs on this. There's owls, there's witches, there's goblins, there's a ton of pumpkins, and there's just lots of fun color combinations that have nothing to do with Halloween, but they kind of give it that fun patchwork quilt. I think I need to just finish this one because I have there's so many other good ones that are in these designs, and they look really addictive for that aesthetic, if you really like that pattern quilt looking in that aesthetic. So I want to finish this one, and hopefully by Halloween. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be back in 6 months and be like, hey, it's me, and I still didn't finish this, but there's always next Halloween. So, that is that. And speaking of this project, I do not have it on my iPad, but I have this very cool haul I wanted to show you guys. I bought myself my first pattern project bag. So I have the pattern in here. This is what it will look like here. As you can see, it's absolutely massive. So lots to go on this one, but also lots of fun things to discover. But I have my project bag, which is a custom design from the Golden Familars shop. So this is run by Renee. She makes pattern bags, grime guards. She just started making scissor fobs, and she will make you a pattern bag of your choice in many fabrics that you have. I saw this Halloween Universal Monsters. I'm like, boom, right up my alley. It has the Invisible Man, who I love, and is very underrated, so I love that he was there. And then of course you open it up as well, and it's got a spot for all your bobbins. So bobbin users unite. I know floss drops trying to steal the show, being the real popular topic, but I love bobbins. So it has spots for, I believe, 20 bobbins right through here, which is just about almost all the colors I have for this one. A lovely spot right here where I can put my needles, which is great because Lord knows I lose them. A zipper pouch here, extra fabric, and then of course you can pull it out to put extra stuff in there. I have some stickers in here that I got for labeling the bobbins. I have a thank you card in here. Who's this from? I don't even, it's not, okay. I have a thank you card in here, a random thank you card, and of course another spot right here, which will fit about an 8-inch hoop, but I actually use it to keep the pattern in, and then I just kind of set the hoop in the middle and close it up like that. So this is lovely. I also love this ombre Halloween fabric. She posted that she was running low on this, so if you love it as much as I do, go to her shop. That's the Golden Familars. You might have to scroll a little bit through Google because I know that is also another name in pop culture, but you'll see her thing. It's got the moon with the kitten and the dog silhouette for her little familiars, who are super, super cute. And of course I bought a bunch of grime guards. So this is the Halloween ombre as a grime guard. So I have that there, which is really nifty. This is nice and tight. It's good enough for holding in the extra fabric on my Carolyn Manning piece without having it to be too bulky. So there's that. And also stickers. Speaking of hacks, lazy hacks, if you do diamond painting, you'll know that the diamond painting follows that same DMC labeling system, and then vice versa. So what you can do is go on Amazon and get the stickers, and if you want to have something a little bit more lively on your bobbins than just the pre-printed stickers or your, Sharping scrawlings in there, you can put these stickers on there. So as I'm going through, and I guess everyone calls it a reset. I'm resetting the kitchen. I'm tidying up the kitchen. I'm tidy. It's a reset. So I'm resetting my floss containers. So I'm going to go through and put my stickers on there. And then, of course, hopefully, once I take a sticker off, I can go like, oh, I obviously must have that color because there's no sticker. So I need to go look for it in my stash before I give up and go to the store. So that's some of my haul and my works in progress pieces. Not all of them. I have a couple that are sitting at work, and I'm working on those. And then of course I'm going to take some more because I get bored easily and I like to switch it up. I do have, one second. I do have some finishes that I did not just toss on the floor because they're sitting on a pile next to me. Chaos under the scene. So I do have a finish. This is my most recent finish. It's hot off the hoop. I didn't even wash out the grid lines. But I've had this pattern for a while, and I am a huge fan of what we do in the shadows. Now, this pattern is from the original film. So this line and quote is from the original film. Even though there's a lot of similarities between the show, this one is specific to this. I love it. I hate doing dishes, just like Declan. And, you know, the whole premise is there's a chore chart for these vampire roommates. And it's like, you haven't done the dishes in 500 years. It's like, I don't like to do this dishes. Vampires don't do dishes. So I have this pattern. This is by Heirloom X Factory. And again, another thing of overthinking was like, I didn't want to do this pattern in white. Because it seems very not vampire-ish. But I obviously couldn't do it in black because it's black on black. I tried a gray. Gray is also problematic because it's gray, so I kind of found this coffee brown, almost like it's a, you know, some kind of like kitchen sampler that you would hang up in your kitchen, which is my goal, you know, and obviously the pattern maker's goal, this pattern that's kind of a kitchen sampler feel to it. So I have that, and I bought 2 pieces of it because I want to make one for me and I want to make one for a friend. But then I was walking through Michael's and I found these. So, against my better judgment, I'm starting the second one on this. So my goal is to take the top part of the pattern here, do this bat here, flip it around, and finish this here. I think this is maybe a couple smidges off of the count of the original pattern, maybe like by 5, but I feel like there's enough wiggle room of the text. The text is about 3, there's about 3 rows in between each one, and then there's just some 3 or 4 rows between the text and the motif on the top. So I feel I can smush those in there. So if that works, I'm going to have the second one on this. And this is by Michael's. It's the Loops and Thread. They had a bunch of other ones, so, and they do come in 2 packs. So there is the other one. I did not use this one because it kind of was a little bit discolored. It is 11 count, so keep that in mind with any pieces that you might be playing for this. But I bought a circle one, and then I bought kind of a square with the rounded edges ones. Plenty of little ones, little circles, little squares. Not very expensive, and you get 2 of them. And Michael's is always having a sale, so so this will be the second one. Vampires Don't Do Dishes, maybe, unless it doesn't work out and I throw it away crying. Also kind of sad because you know, needle minders kind of fall off of this a little bit, so I have to be really careful with that. I do have a magnetic table that I bought for myself. It's a laptop stand from IKEA. It's magnetic, so that is also good for just flopping down your needle minders, because of course, why would you put your needle minder on your fabric and use it? Obviously, if you're just like me, you forget what you're doing and put it else somewhere where it's not magnetic. So that helps me keep them grounded. So that's a finish and a start and a whip. Let's go with the finishes because there's a bunch. Like I said, we'll go with not my first finish of the year. I have some other ones, but they're Christmassy, and it's June. So, but this is Mr. Sparkle. This is from Happy Sloth pattern. I've had this for a while, and then of course I bought more Simpsons patterns that they did because I couldn't help myself. Love the Simpsons. But this is a pattern here. I would think I'd like to maybe finish this on a piece of canvas. So just, you know, tack it to some canvas there and then hang it up in my laundry room. I know that Mr. Sparkle is for, it's washing powder. I don't think, you know, because it's in Japanese and it's The Simpsons and it's not grounded in reality. It's, you know, it's just TV show dress. I can't remember if it's dishwashing, so if it's dishwashing powder or if it's laundry powder or if it's just washing powder, all-purpose washing powder. I bet that's what it is. I did make an alteration to this pattern because it had in the original a little flap, like, you know, the top of the box here, and I kind of just liked it as a square. It was very simple. This one was a lot of fun. I got to take it off and do in-hand stitching on a lot of it. So first part I did was Homer, fish bulb here, and then all of the outline as well. And then I would just do the block of pink, block of green, block of pink. And then also with this one, I believe I had a color, I want to say it was like 3812. I went to like craft stores, could not find it anywhere. So I finally gave up, looked for a substitution, and it gave me like one that's a little bit darker green. And then of course when I'm going through my old projects, there's 3812 on there. I'm like, oh, I knew it. So there is Mr. Sparkle. And he's actually kind of small, but I love him. So I need to iron him and put him up somewhere so he's just not sitting in a drawer. All right, back. Couldn't make it through this whole thing without having to stop up and tell someone to shut off the TV. So this, I love this stitch. This was one that I started it. I wanted to do this for a while. I wanted to hang this up in my house. As soon as I started, I just could not stop. I ignored my temperature stitches and my stitch alongs and other things I wanted to plan. I just wanted to go gung-ho on this. So this pattern is by Happy Little Mouse, and it is the Hobbit hole, and I admire it so very, very much. It is adorable. It was a absolute pleasure to work on. I mean, there's only maybe 12, 15 colors in this, and it just still looks very rich. And it's also just kind of neat to see. I took progress pieces of this. This was one for one of my Facebook groups, and the February theme was fairy tales. So it was stitch on anything fairy tales. And I got permission because, you know, a hobbit is kind of like a hobbit is a fairy tale creature. A lot of people were, you know, being very broad with that sense. So as I was working on it, I mean, we had the clouds and the mountains and the stones and a lot of these, like, you know, bushes and shrubbery over here. And it just kind of looked like a little bit quirky and fun. But then when it like comes together, it was just so pretty, and like with the minimalism, I just enjoyed it so much. Bilbo Baggins is my spirit animal, especially, and come at me, I don't care, Martin Freeman in the movies. I love him. I mean, if I had to gender swap, I would just be Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins. Highly recommend watching the outtakes where Martin Freeman flicks off the camera every time he gets a chance, because I feel that deep in my soul. But I enjoy this. So my goal for this is to put this in a nice, fun wooden hoop with some, you know, weight to it. And I'd like to, I will research before I do this. I would like to take some Scotch Guard and spray this, because I'd like to hang this on my back door to my house. Now my back door has a screen door with it, so it'll be protected from the elements, but I'm still just a little bit iffy. I would hate for this thing to become musty and moldy and then not be as exciting and memorable anymore. So I like to finish this and hang this up as my kind of home sweet home wreath for my door on the back. It's very funny because I'm always trying to get wreaths for the front of the door, but then I kind of realize I don't really care. I mean, 98% of the time I come in through my back door. That's what I see. So when it's Halloween time, I kind of put a wreath on the back that's funny, or, you know, cheerful one at Christmas time. And then, you know, I go to the stores and they have all these wreaths for all the times of the year. And I go, that's pretty. And then I go, but not that pretty once I look at the price tag. And I'm like, maybe I'll just do one that's, you know, all year round. Then I kind of go, I don't really care. But this one I like, so I want to make this the welcome home sign piece. I do actually have a like similar kitschy campy piece in the kitchen right now that I stitched over the pandemic, and it said, "May Godzilla destroy this home last." So I think another fun pop culture piece next to it would be fitting. And then speaking of the Lord of the Rings, for my last finish, and again, hot off the hoop, grid lines and all. See, her gray hairs is it's so big, so I have to hold it up like this. No admittance except on party business. So I can show this one off. This is a home warming gift for my brother and my sister-in-law who bought their first home. And when they were giving us the tour, they said they wanted to make the basement a hobbit hole kind of cozy thing. And I was like, bingo, I know what I'm going to make. So I got this pattern. It is very large. And then, of course, I didn't grid, starting off. Fool of a took. And so what happened is I was off by 1. I'm like, and I didn't really want to frog it because there's very little on this design, so I feel like the stuff would be noticeable. So I kind of went, forget it. I went with my 1 off here. So the border was an off 1. The placement of this bottom line was off by 1. So I said, I'll just do the border. So I did the whole border, gridded it out, going by 10, all the way across, all the way down, meeting in the middle, praying to God. It worked. And then I went back and I finished the bottom line and I did the top line. But then, of course, I forgot that I had done that thing. So then I was going by the chart and I was going like, why is it off? Why is it off? And, you know, after the stomach acid began to rise and I was like, what have I done? And I was like, oh yeah, remember, it's off purposely by 1. So don't go by how it's supposed to match here. Just go how it's supposed to be here. And as you can see, there's tons of room. So it's fine. Only you and me know the secret. And anyone else who watches videos. So now you know my secret. Don't sweat it. I'm not. I need to get this frame. So I am going to go find, I think I found a local framer who does cross-stitch pieces, which is good. Because I am not taking anything to a framer. And I don't want to take it to a Michaels or anyone who really just goes on like digital framing. I want to go by someone who knows how to mount fabric and make it look good. So that they can have this for their home. It's a nice present. And it's my gift from them. And it's just, you know, it's timeless. Go away. No admittance. Bilbo Baggins. Whoa. I can talk today. Bilbo Baggins. My spirit animal. So, like I said, just a fraction of what I've been doing in the 6 months that I have been thinking too hard about posting a video. So I got my lighting, I've got my chair, my stitching chair, which is fun, but the dog is sitting in it. He's going to be very mad when I kick him off, but too bad. He doesn't pay any bills. I have a lot of other projects I'm working at, but again, I just kind of said, there's always time, there's always another day, another FlossTube to show them off. So I've got some projects I have at work. I have another really big Lord of the Rings project that I need to really start working on. It's one of my whips that I'm concentrating on for the year, and I'd like to really get a good effort onto it. I'd like to do some Christmas in July stitching to catch up with it. I have a couple of fun things. Last year I started a piece and of course finished it, 2 weeks after New Year. I'm like, oh great, let's hang up for Christmas. Oh, Christmas is done. By that time, the stuff was packed away. So I have another one that would go with it. I'm doing some temperature stitch-alongs. I haven't done any other new stitch-alongs yet. Hope springs eternal, but I love seeing what other people are doing right now. And so far I haven't jumped on it yet. But, if you have a stitch-along that you're working on, you're like, you should join us. It's a blast. I cave to peer pressure when it comes to cross-stitching. So feel free to let me know. So everyone take care, and thanks for coming back for FlossTube 2.1. Whatever. I promise to be better. I can't say that I'm a FlossTuber and I post like twice a year. So I'd like to be better. I like to show off somewhere in my junk if you want to see it. Wait a minute. Oops. Take that back. That's not true. Wait a minute. Reset. I didn't tell the internet to show off my junk. Show off my cross-stitch junk. Not my junk. No one wants to see that. Anyway. So take care. Happy stitching. I'll see you later.